Alaska is one of the most beautiful and scenic places in the world. It is also the largest state in the USA, with an area of 665,384 square miles or 1,723,337 square kilometers. Though it is the largest state by size, it is also the most sparsely populated state in the USA, with a population of 736,081 people. Named from the Aleut language where Alaska means mainland, in this video, we will explore everything we need to know about the state of Alaska. Indigenous people lived in Alaska for thousands of years. The Native Americans in the American continents came from Asia through the Bering Land Bridge, Alaska. The Russians are believed to have first settled in the 17th century in current-day Alaska. The first European vessel that reached Alaska was the St. Gabriel with surveyor M.S. Gvozdev and assistant navigator I. Fyodorov on August 21, 1732. The first permanent European settlement was founded in 1784. The Spanish tried to assert claim over the area by sending expeditions between 1774 and 1800. In 1789, the Spanish built a settlement and a fort on Nootka Sound. As the colony was not profitable, the Russians never fully colonized Alaska, yet Russian names are common in southeastern Alaska. The 24th United States Secretary of State, William H. Seward, negotiated the Alaska Purchase with Russian Tsar Alexander II in 1867. Alaska was finally sold to US for $7.2 million on March 30, 1867. The formal flag raising took place at Fort Sitka on October 18, 1867. The Russian troops lowered the Russian flag, while US troops raised the US flag at the governor's house on Castle Hill. This event is celebrated every year on October 18 as Alaska Day. Alaska was initially governed by the military, then administered as a district starting from 1884. From 1890 to 1910, the gold rush brought thousands of settlers and miners to Alaska and the Yukon Territory. Alaska was officially made an organized territory in 1912. Alaska's capital was moved from Sitka to Juneau. European immigrants from Norway and Sweden also settled in southeast Alaska, where they entered the fishing and logging industries. In World War II, Adu, Agadu, and Kiska Islands of Alaska were captured by the Empire of Japan, which were later liberated by the US Army. Many army bases were constructed in Alaska, which contributed to Alaska's population growth. Alaska statehood was approved by the U.S. Congress on July 7, 1958, and Alaska officially became a state on January 3, 1959. James Wickersham was one of the main proponents of Alaskan statehood. In 1968, the discovery of oil at Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and the completion of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System led to an oil boom, funding a large amount of the state budget through royalties from oil from the 1980s onward. After World War II, as many military personnel returned home from Alaska, they brought home praise for Alaska's natural beauty as well, which boosted tourism in Alaska massively. The Alcan Highway and the Alaska Marine Highway System made the state more accessible too. Alaska is located in the northwest corner of North America. It is bordered by Canada's Yukon and British Columbia provinces to the east, the Gulf of Alaska and Pacific Ocean to the south, the Bering Sea, Bering Strait, and Chukchi Sea to the west, and the Arctic Ocean to the north. The Russian Big Diomede Island and Alaskan Little Diomede Island are only 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, apart. Alaska has a coastline larger than all other US states combined. Many active volcanoes are found in the Aleutians and in coastal regions. Unimak Island, for example, is home to Mount Shishaldin, an occasionally smoldering volcano that rises to 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters, above the North Pacific. Alaska has more than 3 million lakes. The Bering Glacier is the largest glacier in North America, covering 2,008 square miles, 5,200 kilometers square, alone. Alaska is not divided into counties like other US states, but is divided into boroughs. Most of the densely populated areas are included in 16 boroughs. The boroughs do not cover the state's entire land area. The area not part of any borough is referred to as the unorganized borough. The unorganized borough has no government of its own. The state is divided into 34 recording districts which are centrally administered under a state recorder. The state's most populous city is Anchorage, home to 291,247 people in 2020, and the state capital is Juneau. Alaska is the coldest state in the U.S. The climate in south and southeastern Alaska is a mid-latitude oceanic climate and a subarctic oceanic climate in the northern parts, with cool summers and relatively mild winters. Alaska is renowned for its diverse wildlife, including iconic species such as the brown bear, polar bear, caribou, bull moose, and orca shark. Alaska is the least densely populated state in the U.S., and one of the most sparsely populated places in the world, with only 6 people per 5 square miles. According to the 2019 American Community Survey, 60.2% of the population was non-Hispanic white, 3.7% Black or African American, 15.6% American Indian or Alaska Native, 6.5% Asian, 1.4% Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander, 7.5% mixed race, and 7.3% Hispanic or Latin American of any race. 83.4% of people over the age of 5 spoke only English at home. About 3.5% spoke Spanish at home, 2.2% spoke another Indo-European language, and about 4.3% spoke an Asian language, including Tagalog. In October 2014, the governor of Alaska signed a bill declaring the state's 20 indigenous languages to have official status. Alaska is one of the most irreligious states, with 37% identifying as irreligious, 36% as Protestant, 14% as Catholics, 4% as Eastern Orthodox, and 2% as Mormons. Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau are major population centers. Whittier is a unique town with the entire population living in one massive building. The building itself is town, which includes schools, play areas, a market, a police station, and homes in it. Economically, Alaska ranks as the 48th state in the USA, boasting a gross state product of $55 billion as of 2018. Its per capita personal income stands at $73,000, placing it 7th in the nation. The oil and gas industry dominates the Alaskan economy, with more than 80% of the state's revenues coming from petroleum extraction. Seafood, primarily salmon, cod, pollock, and crab, serves as Alaska's main export product, excluding oil and natural gas. Agriculture, comprising nursery stock, dairy products, vegetables, and livestock, represents only a small fraction of the Alaskan economy. Manufacturing is limited, with most foodstuffs and general goods imported from elsewhere. Industrial outputs include crude petroleum, natural gas, coal, gold, precious metals, zinc, and other mining, seafood processing, timber, and wood products. A growing service and tourism sector also contribute to the economy, while military bases play a significant role as well. The Alaska Permanent Fund, established in 1976 by voters to manage a surplus in state petroleum revenues from oil, is a constitutionally authorized appropriation of oil revenues. Starting with an initial principal of $734,000, the fund has grown to $50 billion through oil royalties and capital investment programs. Since 1982, dividends from the fund's annual growth have been paid out each year to eligible Alaskans. Often regarded as one of the leading examples of a basic income policy worldwide, the Permanent Fund provides financial support to residents. The cost of goods in Alaska has long been higher than in the contiguous 48 states. Alaska has a problem with the brain drain. Many of its young people, including most of the highest academic achievers, leave the state after high school graduation and do not return. To finance state government operations, Alaska depends primarily on petroleum revenues and federal subsidies. This allows it to have the lowest individual tax burden in the United States. It has no sales tax and no individual income tax. In 2014, the Tax Foundation ranked Alaska as having the 4th most business-friendly tax policy. Some of Alaska's popular annual events include the Iditarod Trail sled dog race from Anchorage to Nome, the World Ice Art Championships in Fairbanks, the Blueberry Festival and Alaska Hummingbird Festival in Ketchikan, the Sitka Whale Fest, and the Stikine River Garnet Fest in Wrangell. The interstate highways in Alaska total 1,082 miles or 1,741 kilometers. Built around 1915, the Alaska Railroad, AR, played a key role in the state's development throughout the 20th century. The cities, towns, villages, and regions served by AR tracks are known statewide as the Railbelt. The railroad played an important role in Alaska's development, facilitating the movement of freight into Alaska, while transporting natural resources southward. Many cities, towns, and villages in the state lack road or highway access, with travel options limited to air, river, or sea transport. Alaska's state-owned ferry system, known as the Alaska Marine Highway, serves cities in the southeast, the Gulf Coast, and the Alaska Peninsula. Due to limited highway access, air travel remains the most efficient form of transportation in and out of the state. Many communities have small air taxi services, which originated from the demand for customized transport to remote areas. In areas not served by road or rail, primary transportation in summer is by all-terrain vehicle, and in winter, by snowmobile or snow machine, as it is commonly referred to in Alaska. The Alaska legislature consists of a 40-member House of Representatives and a 20-member Senate. Senators serve 4-year terms, and House members serve 2-year terms. Although Alaska was a democratic state in its early years of statehood, since the early 1970s, it has been characterized as Republican-leaning. The state has an independence movement favoring a vote on secession from the United States, represented by the Alaskan Independence Party. 6 Republicans and 4 Democrats have served as governor of Alaska. Alaska regularly supports Republicans in presidential elections, and has done so since statehood. Republicans have won the state's electoral college votes in all but one election, in which it has participated, 1964. So, that was the state of Alaska for you. In the next video, we will explore another US state.